Good evening, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Manchester, UK. Good evening, London, Vegas. Good evening, Cleveland, Orlando. Good evening, South Carolina. Good evening, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Good evening, Jacksonville. Good evening, Minnesota. Good evening, Chattanooga. Good evening, Milwaukee, Cleveland. Let's see. Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Good evening, Canterbury, Australia, Columbia, South Carolina. Good evening. Guys, as you continue to log on, and yes, that includes all of you all. As you continue to log on, I see you all calling in on Zoom, on YouTube, on Facebook, from everywhere. Good evening, Fort Mitchell, Milwaukee, Columbia, South Carolina. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat where you're calling in from. Now, let's go ahead and get our affirmations together. Good evening, New Jersey. Good evening. Our affirmations. Milwaukee. There we go. There you guys go. Get on the call. Let's go. All right. Tampa, good evening. So let's talk about these affirmations. Let's talk about our mindset, right? Tonight, I'm going to help you dive in here and understand the market. And I really want to make sure that your minds are right, okay? Now, what does that mean? I am an educated, right? Education is our focus. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades in profit, I am 777. Now, I see you guys add to this. Do not take away from it. I want you to big bank, average breaker, bold and confident, right? We want to walk in that boldness and that confidence, right? My mind is renewed. I'm a change agent. So these are the things, right? Big bank frequency, right? 2 million strong. I'm telling you, why don't I see a 2 million strong? 2 million strong. So that's definitely, what we want to see. That's definitely, the mindset that we're at. This is a worldwide movement, worldwide impact. There we go. 2 million. So guys, I'm going to try to take my time tonight because there are some things I want you to understand, and so I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared together. But as I do that, if this is your first time here with us this evening, let me get a 111 in the chat. If you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222 in the chat, right? So let me get a 111 and a 222. If you are compounding, right? If you're cashing out, let me get a 777. If you're compounding, drop that 888, right? And so let me go ahead for those of you all who are new to the call, right? If for those of you all who are new with us, what that means, okay? 111, let me help you understand our call schedule. Our focus here, when we say 2 million strong, this is the largest economic empowerment movement in the history of mankind. This movement is about economic empowerment. This movement is about you learning a skill set. That's why our affirmations speak to, I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am bold and confident. I am the signal, right? So you're going to be empowered. So we're speaking that I am and putting it into existence, okay? That is what we're doing. And so we want to take control, right? All my trades in profit. There's an expectation that when I sit down to take a trade, there's an expectation that when I go to take a trade, that is going to end in profit. The same way when you go to work, right? Do we not expect that check? I want my checks. I want my check. And it's the same thing. I'm not excited to take profit, but what I am is excited for the fact that I have a skill set, that's going to shift my life and change the dynamics of my family. And that's ultimately what this is all about. Now, the 777 is what we do when we take profit. We don't ask anybody to tell us how much money they made, but we do ask you to drop a 777 in the chat because it's taking ownership and saying, look, I did this, right? I took profit. People check in their work all the time. Let's check in that check, right? We're going to check in our profit. And at 888, we've been on a 6 figures in 6 months. And I'm here to tell you, we've been we've been teaching compounding and for well over a year, maybe 2 years almost, when you know, right? Speaking, teaching, talking, compounding. Well, the reality is that we set a campaign for 6 figures in 6 months. And we took that compounding sheet and the beautiful thing is our pit master, Miss Anderson, she does it every Tuesday where she shows you the possibilities and shows you what's out there. And so you're going to be able to follow that sheet to the T. And we have people that are doing it, right? We have individuals that are cashing out. We have individuals that come December, they're going to walk out in the 6 figure mark. And I'm excited about that because now we're walking in freedom. And then we're going to do it again in January. So it's time to press down, get educated, and let's roll it out again. And yes, I said we. And I want you to understand how powerful that is. So what we do is educate and implement. So Monday through Thursday, I see your 777. That's your, the indices are your thing. So Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're live in the market. We're analyzing, we're implementing what we educate on. On Tuesday nights, we're here with the pit master going over the basics. She breaks down to you the basics for your understanding, right? You have to lay a strong, solid foundation. And then what I'm doing tonight is our advanced training, where we understand the market, the tools, all of the tools in the market that you have access to, right? That's what we're doing here this evening. So now what I'm doing is I'm sharing my screen. And what I want to focus on tonight is the reality that we've been talking a lot about the news, okay? We've been talking a lot about the news. So let's talk about the news, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is here we are today, right? So what we had today was quite a bit of red folders, all right? And then of course, tomorrow is non-farm payroll, okay? So earlier today, we had quite a bit of red folders and then non-farm payroll. And what I want you to grab from this, and I kind of give this out on the morning calls, but what I really want you to understand and take from this is that this is no different than you checking the weather, right? You don't want to be in a winter coat when you can have on some flip-flops. So it's really no different. And I want you guys to commit tonight to not compartmentalize. I want you all to commit tonight to making sure that what you do is we're not compartmentalizing. What we're doing is we're going to walk in understanding and we're going to embrace this, right? Because it's not difficult, it's just different. And so you're walking in and you're coming into understanding now. And so this is information that's been hidden in plain sight, but yet you now have the opportunity to participate in this market. And this is ultimately what banks do with our money. And what I want you guys to know that there are 3 different things that move the market. All right. This is why I say get in a habit, right, of opening these folders. Get in a habit of opening these folders, okay? I'm sorry, that made me laugh. Did you really change your Zoom link to the Air Force veteran? So you know what? I'm sorry, guys. If you had to see our Booster Banks salute to veterans radio broadcast that we did on Tuesday, I'm sitting here nice and focused, and I saw that. Okay, so you know, if you have any military association or affiliation, you know we always have to make fun of the Air Force. So he put it in bold in all caps. So he's gonna scream it on the call. All right, let me get back focused. So right here, yes, I'm a hater, not okay. So as I'm looking right here, what you're seeing is, you know, this was an official bank rate, okay? That's what this was. This is an official bank rate. And as I'm looking at this bank rate, all right, what you're seeing is that they have forecasts, right? It's good for currency. What we want to look at is why do traders care? All right. Now, what we do now, you don't really have to get into much detail. You just have to know it's a red folder before you come to trade. Every time you sit down and this is going to help you understand how the market moves and why I tell you guys, do not touch it. I think yesterday there was some red folders. Let me change the date on this. And when there was some red folders yesterday, I told you guys, do not touch anything before 2 o'clock, right? What is this? The federal funds rate. You're going to understand why today. Because if you took a trade prior to 2 o'clock, then you might have gotten caught up in some pullback, a trade going in the opposite direction. All right. And so I wanted to really get in here and help you guys understand just how significant this information is. Look at how it comes 8 times a year. All right. This is significant. Now, let me explain to you why when you're sitting here looking at this. First and foremost, what I want you to know, the US dollar is the major currency pair. It's the dominant market in the market. All right. So everything that we do, everything that we operate under, the US dollar has some strength. Like, think about it. We're here on a Thursday. Veterans Day is next Thursday. Guess what we won't have? We won't have any calls. Because anytime the US does something, the banks are closed. And so what does that mean? That means that there's no activity, no movement in the market, okay? So the US currency dominates the market in a sense, right? The feds have a lot of control over the market overall sentiment, okay? Now, every country, well, you have 8 major ones, right? 8 major countries, right? The feds, the ECB, Bank of England, Canada, Japan, Swiss, Australia, New Zealand. You have 8 major banks that run currency throughout the world. Now, the 3 things move the market. You have your central bank sentiment, the central banks. You have your economic data, which are your fundamental drivers. And then you have your geopolitical. Well, we experience geopolitical. So let me go ahead and knock this one out of the way because it's not something that happens often. Your geopolitical is the US elections, Brexit, right? Brexit, US elections. So those are the types of things that will have impact in the market. For those of you all who were trading during that time, you know, the market was, it was not a nice trendy market. It gives the market some uncertainty because it can shake the market when you have those sorts of things. COVID was another one when COVID hit. So those are those things. Now we can make some money in there, but what we do know is the trend of the market is your friend. The trend is your friend. And so my central banks, when they make decisions, this happens every six to 8 weeks or so. When they make decisions, they give the market its sentiment, which is its overall direction, okay? And then our economic data, so let's look at this. So that's tomorrow, okay? Our economic data, which are things like our interest rates, our CPIs, right? The GDPs, the retail sales, unemployment. Look at all of the things that's happening, right? Also, what happened Wednesday? So we had news reports that fed into Friday. So all of these things are consumer confidence. That gives it my immediate bias. So that's why we see the market react and we don't trade right before that. So we're going to get our central banks, which give me overall market direction. Am I going to have a bullish market or am I going to have a bearish market? Is the overall direction of the market going to buy or is the overall direction of the market going to sell? And then, of course, we have our economic, which is our immediate, that we go up, down, sideways, right? So that's the gist of how the market moves. And I'm about to show it to you on the charts. But do I have any questions, comments, or testimonies? Any at all? Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Okay, none, no. You guys got it? We can end the call? You good? You know why we don't take a trade now before that? So let's look at this. Let's think about this. All right. So promise me we're gonna check the news and we're gonna wait until the news hit. This is why we don't take a trade on a 9 o'clock call. This is why we don't take a trade before the bell, This is why we look at our red folders. We pause trading until after our folders, right? This is why we do those things, okay? Because this gives the market direction. So why am I sharing this with you? Because you're gonna go through the basics. And don't come do this before you go through the basics. The basics is gonna be, let's talk basics for just a minute. Let's jump over here and talk basics. Actually, I'm gonna grab a clean chart. So when you log on, this is what you're looking at. This is where you guys see Miss Anderson spend her time and come walk you guys through and show you on the basics. And as a matter of fact, we set this up like this very intentionally, okay? I'm gonna take some of this off of here, right? Thank you. Good evening. All right, so now, so when we're here, right, this is what you see. So understand that with the vibrata, these are our triggers. So this scans the market to give you your high probability trades, okay? This doesn't even look right to me anymore, but this is where you spend your time, okay? So what this means is that every 5 minutes I get a candle, every 15 minutes I get a candle, every hour I get a candle. What we're looking at right here is the real price of the market. So right over here to the right is the real price of the market. So if I wanted to buy a British pound, so GBP USD, that means for right now, the current price, right? We have our Hikinashi price, our trend price, and our real price. But right now, on average, right, it would take me about $1.35 US dollars to buy 1 British pound. So I would need $1.35 to buy 1 British pound. So, but right now, the market is selling. So what that meant, y'all watch that PSAR flip. I'm just saying, just watch it. If y'all take a trade while we're on this call, just drop your 777. So what that means is that as I'm looking at, because it already broke the psychological level, so that's a retest. That's how I see it. I'm gonna try to be basic for a minute, to walk you through the basics to understand it. But I'm gonna start marking this chart up in a minute, just so you guys know. But when I look here, you can see that this is my real price, right? This is my real price. So now the market moves at $6.6 trillion a day. It is absolutely no way we're gonna trade on a penny. So now we break down to the pips. We've trained on pips. We've done this. Go watch the training on the psychological levels, right? That's going to really help you understand the point I'm making about the pips. So now this is how the market moves. So we got the price, we have date and time, okay? We have price and we have date and time. And so what happens is the news that we looked at is what ultimately gives the market direction. So let's look at the strategy for just a moment though. What are we looking for? So I'm looking for my stochastic, right? And so this is why you see Miss Anderson here. Until you grasp this, okay? Then you're gonna elevate and morph into support and resistance lines. You'll begin to see trend lines. You'll begin to see the market flowing, and you'll begin to understand everything I'm doing on the morning calls, right? As I'm flipping through the charts and clicking here and clicking there, but this is where you start. So I'm looking at this because we are literally sitting here, look like we're waiting on a PSAR. So what am I looking for? Let's talk about this live trade. We have a blue line cross over the red. This is my momentum indicator, right? Blue line cross over the red and a downward momentum, right? And a downward momentum around the 80. So what we do know is that this is a momentum indicator. And so my momentum indicator is going to go into a sell or it's going to come into a buy. So it's going to shift around the 80 and the 20, okay? So when it comes down here around the 80, I begin looking for a sell, which simply means that price is decreasing. We're not actually selling anything, okay? We don't sell anything, right? That's not what we're doing, right? What we're doing, price is decreasing, okay? I want you guys to understand that. So that means this is letting me know that there are more sellers. What we're doing is there are more sellers in the market. This is where the bias and the sentiment is right now. And so I'm gonna walk you through the difference of those based on the news, but I want to help you understand what you're looking for. Then we begin looking for a red candle with a flat top, okay? So notice here, then I come up here and you see you have that red candle, right? And this red candle has a flat top. So how can I remember that? Top, top. Oh, wait, I don't have a P star. We're about to get a P star. So let's see what's happening on the hour. All right. Now on the hour, do we have confluence? Somebody help me out. Confluence means alignment, right? Confluence means alignment. So you see my stochastic is kind of flatline, but we've been in a strong sell all morning. Did we take profit today? We set it up this morning. Who rode this with me? Because I had a very good day today. Who rode this with me today? Anybody? Going once, going twice. Okay, I'm like, y'all are not gonna leave me out here by myself. Not the way we analyzed this morning. So not the way we analyzed this morning. I know you guys took profit. I know you guys made some money, right? So now, okay, so we actually do have confluence. We'll get into that in a little bit. Now, we just know that the momentum is, we will hope, it looked like the momentum trying to die out. So now I want to drop down to my 5. My 5 is still selling. I do want a little bit more down on this, but my 5 is still selling. So ultimately, right, look, y'all, it flipped. Like, now, I have to go check the higher time frames. I've grown accustomed to my top-down analysis. So you have that. Now let's look at my top-down analysis. But that's where you all live, right? That's kind of where you guys have to live as a new trader, right? It's on that 5, 15, and 3. And so it's actually been selling. I'm actually still in the trade. So I've secured my profit. One thing is I want you to get very accustomed, like very, very, accustomed to is I want you guys to, like when we talk to compounding, you can do your 10 pips. But after you get the 10 pips, if you want to ride it out, secure your profit. Secure your profit. That way, at a minimum, you're walking away with 10 pips. At a minimum, right? At a minimum, you walking, that's what you're going to walk away with. But you're going to still be able to, cash out and allow it to continue to ride. So a trade in profit should always remain in profit. Once you get that, if you want to keep letting it go, or if you plan on still letting it ride, move your stop loss up. Do a trailing stop loss. There's obviously videos that help you with that as well. But, I just want to kind of be clear on that. That's not what tonight's training is about. But I want to make sure I walk you through the strategy before I continue. Any questions, comments, or testimony so far? Questions, comments, testimony so far. So that's the basics of the strategy. Then what happens is I come in today on Thursdays, and as we implement in the mornings, and I begin to help you see the market, because that's going to give you a foundation, right? But when you, like if I was building a house and I lay a foundation, can I really see the floor plan? Can you really see what the kitchen looks like? Do you understand what the roof is going to look like, right? So you understand that you just laid a foundation. And so I can tell you what my square foot of my house is going to be. I can tell you all of those things. But am I really in this position, right, to tell you what the rest of the house looks like? No, I'm not. So what we have to do, but I cannot put a roof on a house until I lay a foundation. So understanding the strategy and its simplicity is very important. Now, my stop loss is going to go above the PSAR. Let me help you guys out. Stop loss means stop the loss. Do not trade without a stop loss. It goes above the PSAR, above the dot, just not on the dot, okay? It goes above the dot. And so this is the market telling me that the market, it's not a 10 pip or 20 pip. I've seen 50 pip stop losses. That's not what this is. The market is telling me where it's put its parameters. It is what you call a dynamic support and resistance line. It is a support and resistance line that is moving with the market. So what that means is the market is telling me, you notice that, let's look at this. The market's telling me, you notice that the market always stays on the other side of the PSAR. It's not going to break the PSAR. So if there's a shift that happens, then the dots flip to the top of the candle. The dots will be at the bottom of the candle or the top of the candle. They'll be at the bottom of the candle or they'll be at the top of the candle. So you notice that even if it gets real close, right? Like over here, it got real close at times, but it's not gonna touch it. It might touch it, but you notice it can get close. It can get close, but it's not gonna, look at how close this one got right here, right? Look how close this got to that PSAR. So imagine your broker spread. So look how close it is to that PSAR. With that, I'm not putting a dot. I'm not putting my stop loss on a dot or in between the candle and the dot. Do not do that. This can pull, look, you would have got in over here. Let's hypothetically say you would have got in right there. And then look at this candle. This candle has a line on top of it. It comes almost up to that dot. And then it continues to move down. Never, ever, 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 ever put your stop loss in between here or even on the dot. It always goes above it, all right? I had to do that because I always forget to tell you guys about the stop loss, but you need a stop loss, you do. So, thank you. It's market momentum. That's market momentum. I don't need you to overanalyze that. Don't dig that deep, right? Don't dig that deep. Let the market do the heavy lifting for you. Let the market do the heavy lifting for you. The market's doing it, let the market do it. Okay? So don't dig that deep. Don't get that deep. All right? So let's go back over here. Okay? Let's come back over here. Let's talk about that for a minute. So I'm gonna actually come up to my higher time frame to paint a picture. So because we never hit it. Because you don't hit your stop loss. That's why we forget. So now let's look at this for just a moment. I'm up here on purpose. Okay, I'm up here on purpose. Okay. So this is April. Okay. Oh wait, I'm way back. I'm on the daily. That's all right. That's fine. I could be on the daily. So I want to be over here though. I want to be in a closer time frame. So this is September. All right, let's talk about this. I wanted some movement though. So let me see. I want some activity in the market. So because I'm on a daily, that's quite a bit of pips, right? I'm on a daily. I'm gonna use this as an example. Or maybe I should drop down to my 4 hour because I want you guys to get it, to really see it. All right. This is good. This is good right here. All right, so let's look at this. All right. So those reports come out every so many weeks. So this is October. This is September. This is the beginning of September, right? So we had about a 4-week time frame, right? So let's look, the beginning of September right here. I'm not going back and checking dates. I'm trying to make a point. I want you guys to grasp a point. So if you want to go back and verify it, because if somebody has a doctorate in Google on here and you go back and you want to line all that up, then you will see it a lot. You'll probably see it very, very clear what I'm telling you. But this is for the purpose of training that I really want you guys to understand what I mean. So what does this mean? Okay. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. So what we know right here, that this is the market sentiment, right? The market is in a buy. This is the current market sentiment that is buying, okay? So this is the current market sentiment that is selling. So this is bearish, this is bullish. When those reports come out, you notice that I got a good month in between each one. So how often? It's like let's just say approximately every 6 weeks. Now they're different, they come out at different times in different countries, right? I gave you 8 central banks. So, and I'm on AUD USD. So just because USD has one doesn't mean AUD is going to have it at the same time. So I'm not going back to get that deep and to line it up like that. But just know AUD has some and so does USD. So you see that what this does is create sentiment in the market, okay? The sentiment is the direction. Are we bullish or are we bullish or bearish, right? Which direction is the market going? And so whatever happens with those central banks, this is where they set the interest rates, okay? So you'll hear it all the time because it'll say a bank rate decision. Now the bank rate decision, oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you. So the bank rate decision, so let's just say interest rates stay at around, this is where the financial markets and all of this, right? We know Dr. Bythewood is traveling tonight, so this would have been a perfect call for him to come behind me and really break that part down, right? But we know he's traveling, so we're not going to even be able to get that deep tonight. So what I'm saying is, when I'm seeing this, okay, they set those interest rates, right? We hear it all the time, inflation, interest rates, he's already trained and he's talked about how, the money is being pushed into the market, how, the flow, the interest rates, how they're, how that money affects it, the retraction, you put it in there, it puts more money in the market, you pull some out, right? That's how they control spending. All of that is based on economic drivers. They make those decisions off of the economic drivers. Those economic drivers, once again, the CPIs, the PPIs, right? All of those, like your MRIs. See, I hope y'all caught that. It was a joke. I just want to know if y'all paying attention. So, but seriously though, but your interest rates, your CPIs, right? All of those things, the sales, the NFP tomorrow, right? All of those things are going to create a bias, which look like to us, right? Which it looks like to us is, just a correction. Now remember, I'm trying to paint a picture. I'm not going back to line up the dates, but like you see the market moving. So it gives the market that current direction. We know the market is not going to go in a straight line. So when we say we ride the wave of the market, we ride the wave of the market, we ride the wave of the market, we cannot make decisions. There is no such thing as let me pray this trade into profit, okay? Because the same way you praying and go into profit and turn around, somebody else is praying that it stay going the way it's going, right? So that's what somebody did. Yeah, I said MRI. So that's where, it's praying. You praying one thing, somebody else praying something else. Both of y'all prayers not getting answered, okay? Only one of y'all prayer is getting answered. So you want to do this. God gave you the gift. The prayer is, let me see this market clearly. Let me see this. Let me understand it. Let all my trades in and profit, because I'm going to analyze and take the trade, right? So we can't root the trade on. We cannot do any of that. We're going to be educated, okay? And so understanding that is that the central banks, right? The central banks give the market direction. That's the overall sentiment. But what we know is that it's not going to go in a straight line. It's not. It's going to, this is going to happen. And when you see this on a higher time frame, right? If I was to come up here on this, obviously, well, it's nice and smooth because let me change to the regular candles real quick. Now, see, we're not analyzing the strategy. Actually, I'm going to just go back to the 4 hour. I'm going to just go back to the 4 hour for the sake of training. So no, yeah, nothing in life is a straight line. And we have to understand that. You have to see the end goal, the end game, right? So what happens is this gives me my overall direction, right? So even though this comes down in a sale, this sells, my overall direction, my overall sentiment of the market is in a buy. It's bullish. The overall like what just happened today. All of this is today. Tell me what happened to the sentiment of the market based on the bank rate reports that came out today. What happened? Somebody, anybody, what happened? Now, you guys know I'll pause till somebody answer. So the overall market right now, the trend has shifted. It's changed, right? Well, let me look at this one. So because we had USD yesterday. So the overall trend, we broke that last significant level and the trend has actually reversed. And so now what you're seeing, you can see, right? So that's what we call my economic drivers. When I'm always on here talking about the fundamental drivers, right? These are our fundamental drivers. Well, that's what our fundamental drivers are. The fundamental drivers are all of those reports. So this is why we check the news. This is why we have to check it. So what you'll see is the market consistently, right? As we look at it, I'm gonna actually go up to the daily so we can go back a little bit. But when we start looking at it, you can see like from here, like that's way back in 18 because each candle is a day right now, but it's like it dropped, it peaked down, right? And then of course, you know, this is March of 20, so that obviously that's when COVID hit. But then you can see how this pulled back up, and you can kind of see how this, like if it's obviously some things kept going and it kept going in this direction, and then we turned. So you can see how these reports impact the market, and it gives us our overall direction of the market. So now what happens, well, before I go any deeper, any questions, comments, or testimonies? Any. You got clarity? Awesome, you're welcome. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? We almost at take profit too. Isn't it good when you can make money on a training call? I like it, I like it, I like it. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? All right, none. So now what happens is we start diving in here, right? And now we start marking up our zones. I went really deep. Well, I hope it brought some clarity. I told you I was going to help you understand why them reports are so important. Did it bring some clarity, or do I need to go back over something? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad it was deep, but I just wanted to make sure it's clear. Now we don't, you don't trade like that, but let's say you're a swing trader, right? Let's say you're a swing trader. They are, like we always talk about, trading with the trend and the swing of the market. So that's going to help you understand. And see, our goal right now is this next kickoff campaign. I told you we were about to get deep in the education, the clarity, and the understanding, so we can do these 6 figures, right? Because we do have some individuals doing their 6 figures, but we're going to have more doing it come January. And so we're going to understand this market. You guys are going to have some clarity on this market. So the point is enroll, learn, profit. Enroll into the academy, learn how to utilize the tools, learn the market, and then profit, right? Let's do these 6 figures in 6 months. There's no excuses, literally. So that's what we're doing. So it's time to dive in, right? It's just time to dive in and get it done. Because, hey, we 6 figure. Wait, oh my goodness. Did y'all see that video I posted? Oh, I'm glad you finally understand what cinnamon means. Whereas our wealth connector was doing the 6-figure dance, she called it the 6-figure dance. So everybody going to club 777. We're going to club 777, and we're going to do the 6-figure dance, right? The 6-figure dance. Where is she at? Is she on? So we're going to do the 6-figure dance. So that's what she did. So, and hey, 6 figures have me dancing too, right? You saw it? Yes, the 6-figure dance. I'm telling you. All right. So, and just imagine you sitting at home and can do that. You just like a few trades here and there. Like, yes, let's go get it. Let's get it done. So where is, where is New Type of Money? Because he was supposed to, he said he was going to make the BYOB jingle, right? When he was on the broadcast, he said he was going to do the 6-figure jingle. So, I mean, the BYOB, look, that's 6-figure jingle. The BYOB, he was going to write a BYOB song. So I'm going to call him out. And yes, this is recorded. New Type of Money, New Type of Money. So, all right. So I am Aaron Wells. So yes, I said your name. All right. So when you watch it, or, you're listening in, and when you watch it, so I'm looking for the theme song. So now let's talk about this for just a moment. Salsa dance too. Okay. Now look. So what we know is that now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my psychological levels on here. And for those of you all who have not watched the video or were not on the recording for the psychological levels, what the psychological levels are these are the levels that happen in the market, okay, because we're accustomed to rounding, right? We're very accustomed to rounding. And so because we're accustomed to rounding, these are levels that are in the market where orders typically take place. So it has absolutely nothing to do with the direction of the market. It has absolutely nothing to do. Just imagine it's like a stop sign. So this is an actual stop sign in the market, because when you, like, let's say you're dealing with a financial advisor, an investor, whoever you're working with that's doing actual money investments, they happen. If you tell them, just think about it. If I go to the store and I'm like, oh, that's it's like, let's say it's $18.97. How much are you gonna say that it costs? If I'm like, well, how much did that cost? What would you tell me? You're gonna tell me it costs $20. So, if something's $87, you're gonna tell me it was $100. So we as people have a tendency to round, right? We have a tendency to round. And so what do you think that your bank investor, the bank traders, right? The ones who's dealing with the larger lot sizes, the ones who's dealing with the larger amount of currency, right? Because banks are trading in the millions, okay? They're not doing the lot sizes we're doing. Y'all think you're not comfortable putting in a 1.0. Y'all want to stick with a 0.01. They're doing much, much more than that, okay? So they're gonna round, okay? They're gonna round. And so what happens is around these levels is where a lot of the orders take place. So it has absolutely nothing to do, right? It has absolutely nothing to do with the market buying and selling those. It's just like a stop sign set at that place because we know what's gonna happen. Right? It's a stop sign set right there because we know at that level is where orders happen, where bank orders happen, okay? So now what you're looking at is right here in this market, right here. You see? Now what I'm squinching the charts up for is because I want you to see how the market reacts around those levels, okay? So so when I tell you guys we're looking at the real market, this is the real market. We just ride the wave of the market to take profit, okay? So you see, you have your sentiment, which is how do they feel about what the market's doing? How do they feel, right? How do they feel? So how do they feel about what the market's doing, right? How do they feel about the decision? Because remember, the central bank make a decision, and then the sentiment is how do you feel about it? And then what we come in and do is the technical analysis. We come make sure it lines up. So we cannot make a decision in the market. We can't force the market. We ride the wave. So whenever you hear somebody saying, oh, that's a stop hunt. Oh, this is it. They don't care about you, right? You just have to understand what the market is and understand that the market, we have to understand how to ride the wave of the market. And when you grab that surfboard, when you can get on that surfboard, you're going to ride it straight into wealth. I'm telling you right now. All right. So any question, you guys see this, right? So you see, this is where my consolidation happens. This is where the market kind of bunches up at. And in between, these are not even the major ones. In between these are the minor ones. That's 100 pips. From here to here, that's another 100 pips, okay? From here to here, that's another 100 pips. The major ones are from the more zeros you have, like that 70000. We want to, that's 1,000 pips to right here. You're so happy you the signal? Absolutely. And so obviously the more zeros you have, the more impact it's going to have on the market. Questions, comments, testimonies. Any questions, comments, testimonies? So now let's break it down a little bit further. Let's go a little bit deeper. You want to go deeper? Let's go deeper. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this channel on here. Trust me, if you're new on the call, just hang out with us. Just hang out with us for a little while. Get enrolled, hang out with us for a little while, and all of this will make sense. You'll be dropping the 777s in the chat too. All right. So now what we know is the market moves in channels. Rivers flow in channels. So the market is going to bounce back and forth through these channels. You see, the market is predictable. I'm sorry, like it is. If somebody tell you that you can't, if you understand what it's doing, then you will understand how to make the money. So the market is no surprises in the market. And the only time the market spikes up and does something retarded that we call retarded is, or just crazy or what have you, is when we get in a trade before the news, right? We get in a trade right before the news. We don't want to get in a trade right before the news, right? That's like, I'm telling you, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. And what do? You touch the stove. Okay, you got burned. Okay. And then now you're mad at everybody but you, but you're the one touched the stove when I told you don't touch the stove. So it's the same thing. And that's when you're like, well, I don't understand why my trade did this. And I don't understand why my trade went that way. And I don't understand what happened. And I don't understand. Well, it's because you're doing it your way and not you think we have control over the market. We don't have control over the market, right? Honestly, with your broker, you riding on the sideline. Be honest with you, the banks are trading in the market. You're trading with your broker. Did you know that? So you ever been on the interstate and they have that little highway that's along the side? We're retail traders. So we're trading with the brokers. So you have that little highway on the side, you know, like if it's an accident or something, you have to get off in that little highway, that US 1, US whatever. It's always riding alongside of the main interstate. It might come out a little bit, but then it's like wherever if the highway is going north, then they have a highway that's on the side that go north too. Well, the big banks of the world are on the interstate. We tagging along right on alongside of them on the highway. That makes sense? You guys get it now? So when I say they don't care about you, they don't care about you. And your broker is the one that's in the market. So does that bring some clarity? You get it now? I hope so. So I care about them. I care about them because I want my money. So I want my money. That's why I always say don't make deposits to your broker, right? That's why I always tell you that. I'm telling you, Tasha M. Dyer, that's the Cash App. If you're gonna make deposits, that's where you send it. Don't send it to the broker. I don't need your money, but I'm just so don't just send me, don't do that. I don't need your money. But what I'm telling you is if you just want to make a donation, let's not make it to the market. Listen to what we're teaching you, right? And let's take some trades and come out and profit. So now when you see this, okay, right? When you're looking at this, now we're gonna get let's dig a little bit deeper. So now those are the psychological levels, right? And you know, these are the psychological levers. And we see that we have those zones that actually tap through here. So as we get deeper, all right. So great, thank you, thank you, thank you. So as we come in and we get deeper, now you see I'm in a channel, which it looks crazy, right? When I'm looking at it from that perspective. But now, because I had to zoom it in, but I'm gonna have to zoom it back out in a minute. So now what you're seeing, we're on that 15-minute chart where you guys get started from. And now you see all this activity that's taking place, right? And so now when I got all this activity that's taking place, you can see that I have structure inside of structure. I can see the market moving inside of the bigger picture. So it does not change the fact that my sentiment is in a bullish market. It does not change the fact that I am in an overall buy. It does not change the fact that this is moving up. The market is continuously moving up. But as we drill down, right, we come in here and we're trading in here. This is when we get on these calls and we get in there, this is what you're looking at. Let's get my stochastic back, right? Here's a trade right here. So when I look at this, right, when I'm here, I have my blue line cross over the red and the down. This is why you're doing like, oh, let me get my 10 pips and cash out. Let me get my 10 pips and cash out, right? This is why. So blue line cross over the red and a downward momentum right here. Have a red candle with a flat top. And I have a PSR at the top. You guys see that? Now, when I flip time frames, it's going to move and we're going to have to go find it again. But I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you see it. All right. So I'm going to jump up here to my hour and it didn't do it. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. So right here, okay, you can see my blue line cross over the red and the downward momentum. And look, I actually have confluence. Now, we're going to have to cross our fingers to see if it does it again. See, it didn't stay. It didn't stay. I almost didn't come back to try. It's the 5 minute. We're not going to be able to go back that far. But we know that it's in a sale, right? Because it's so far over. The charts are cut off because of how far over it is, right? So now we know that we could have taken a sale. and we could have written it out. So this is why it's important for you to do one, your time frame confluence, right? I mean, your BYOB cash out strategy, your time frame confluence, and then you advance to your top-down analysis. But now you should be able to see right here why, as a beginner, someone new to trading, I can come in here and I could just look at these three things, right? I could just look at this right here. Anything going against the trend is a counter trend. Anytime we go against the trend, it's a counter trend. So, but it's like I could come right here, right? I could look at this and I could just focus on that 5:15 in that hour. And I could begin there. And this is why you have people doing that, dropping 777s in the chat. So it's not difficult, but we're going to lay a foundation and then we're going to build up, and you're going to understand the big picture of what's in the market. Tonight, you should understand why we come in here and check the news every morning. Now you should understand why we don't trade before those reports. Now you should understand why we don't touch a trade right before market open, because you're going to get a liquidity push. So if you stick to a trade plan, you stick to your discipline, you stick to the understanding and the commitment to yourself to learn the skill set, then you are going to walk in the wealth that you ultimately desire. Now, when I look at this, okay, that's like 50 pips. So before we start thinking about the trend and the counter trend, this is sentiment. Now you can have a trend inside of here because, you know, when I'm on that, now obviously I'm on an hour, but the overall sentiment is a bullish market. Anything that goes against that, anything that goes against the buy right now is a counter trend trade because the trend is in a buy. So anything that goes against that is a counter trend trade. Counter trend means I'm trading against the trend. So questions, comments, testimony. Questions, comments, testimonies. We got a few minutes left on this call. Questions, comments. Are you ready for your 6 figures? You guys don't have a question. I have a question. Are you ready for your 6 figures? Are you ready to walk in the wealth? Don't wait till 9:59 to ask me a question. I'm telling you, ask the questions now. I got a yes, yes, yes. Ready, let's go, let's go, let's go. Did tonight's training bring some clarity? Hold on. May 1st, what's May 1st? You know I'm a May baby, so you caught my attention with that. What's May the 1st? That's your 6-figure day. Okay. You guys know when May start rolling around, we start talking about a national holiday around here. I don't know, it's been a national holiday my whole life. So June the 1st, okay, yes, and as usual, learn something new every time you plug in. Fantastic, great training. All right, so I'm telling you guys, So now, am I gonna get this deep on the calls next time? No, but I wanted to, help. Today, I just wanted to paint a picture. Tonight, I just wanted to paint a picture because we consistently, no, if y'all gonna party, we party the whole month to make Club 777. 777. It's May the 19th, and I'm telling you, we're gonna party the whole month. It's gonna be a national holiday on the 19th of May. So Jacksonville, Florida is going down. All right. Now, actually, we're gonna have to go somewhere next year. So when I'm looking at this, right, you can see this, okay? You can see this. And when you're looking at that, and you can see how the market shifts. So that's the ultimate sentiment of the market. So I'm not gonna get that deep next time, but I want you to understand because it didn't register when somebody asked me, how do I trade non-farm payroll, right? I mean, because what didn't register is that this wasn't common knowledge, because it's the fact that I don't quote unquote trade, right? I don't trade non-farm payroll. I understand the impact that the news, that these reports have on the market. I mean, you think about it. This is our government. The feds make the decision for currency flow. Dr. Bythewood has done a training where he's talked about the Fed decisions and how they go in and out and what it does to the market, right? So we've had that conversation. But understand that what we're looking at, and this is what I mean about don't compartmentalize it, because you see, well, is that the stock market? Is this market? Is that the investments? It's the same market. It's the exact same thing. We have one financial market, like one, and this is the same market. Whether I'm looking at the Dow Jones, right? That's what I'm seeing right here. I'm looking at that, right? We were looking at the S&P. We're looking at that's the NASDAQ, the S&P. Whether we're looking at gold, hopefully y'all took profit when I told you about gold. We're looking at Bitcoin, right? Hopefully you took profit. I told y'all about Bitcoin too. So when we're looking at these things, it's the same market. This is a market strategy, okay? It works on everything. So every time we come on here, this is the same market. We're looking at the same information, right? Whether you're doing an investment or trading, the difference is we profit on the movement. I don't have to buy a British pound. I don't have to buy a Bitcoin. I don't have to pray it rises in value. You ever bought something, right? You know how many people was upset during COVID? Let's go back here. You know how many people was mad during COVID? Talking about their investment and retirement accounts and everything. And I'm not glad COVID happened, but what I can tell you, where is March of last year? This one it hit. All I know is when I saw Apple shut its store down, I was like, y'all, let's get ready. So you see the market been rising. This is it. This drop right here. So when this happened right here, when this drop happened, this is the Dow Jones, right? Then look, February, Apple closed and it sent the market into a frenzy. And this happened. This drop happened right here. And this, look at the points that it fell, right? Good God Almighty, right? I'm not even going to pronounce that. I'm going to just let you guys see it. Look at the points that it fell over that time, right? Look at the points move. So do you know how much money we made though? Because we understand movement. We understand market movement, and that's what took place, So we 1100 exactly, but we understand. So people's retirement accounts are still recovering, but we're still trading. So the stocks and all of that, we don't have to, right? We profit on movement. That's what we do. We profit on movement. All you have to do is understand what the market's doing, right? You just have to understand what the market's doing. That's it. You just have to understand. So we come here, so back up. We come check this, right? We check our news. We need to know what's going on. We need to know what's happening with the news, right? Now do you understand? Yes, we was having a real good time at Club 7. We did not shut it down at all. Club 777 did not shut down. We had a good time. So when you're looking at this, right, now you should understand why we can trade non-farm payroll. Now you understand why the market does not move. Like, well, you remember what was it the other day? And I was like, crickets. And I started showing you the liquidity and volatility charts in the market, right? That morning. Now you should understand why there's absolutely no movement when that is happening, right? You should really understand that now. So just for clarity, right? We should understand that. Now you understand why we don't sit down. We affirm, we clear our minds, we open these folders, we analyze, and we're going to make some money, right? That's what we do. And it's going to help you. Questions, comments, testimonies, guys. Questions. Oh, look. See, I don't have nobody transition to call to tonight. So questions, comments, testimonies. I want to make sure you get your questions answered. Y'all right there at profit. Depending on your pip reaction time, you should be right there. But it's coming. You see, this is a brand new 1 hour candle. So look at that candle. It's brand new. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, right? Beautiful. All right. Any questions? I'm about to close the call now. Any questions, comments? Mr. Rogers, you have any comments? I don't know. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't have any questions, comments, or testimonies, Remember that, thank you, thank you, thank you. 6 figures in 6 months. Who is ready? Who is ready? Are you ready? Who is ready? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to do it again. I'm ready to do it again. Who's ready? 6 figures in 6 months. 6 figures in 6 months. We are BYOB master traders, and you are going to walk this thing out on purpose. We are about to have a good time. We're making quite a bit of money. We're having a good time. We are changing 2 million strong. That's the battle cry right now. 2 million strong. You ready to do the dance? 2 million. So this is why I say share this information. This is why I tell you guys to share this stream. This is why we want to make sure, right? You enroll, you learn, you profit. It's really just that simple. Let's not overthink it. Let's not overcomplicate it. Enroll, learn, profit. Let's go. Because we have lives to change. This is an economic empowerment movement, and there has never been anything of this kind. People do empowerment, they get together, they have a good time, and then they go home. And you go home back to real life. So, but if I can empower you economically, you can change the world. And that's the power that you have in your hands. This is the largest economic empowerment movement, and that is definitely something to get excited about. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna end the call. We've had a very powerful week. You guys made quite a bit of money today, yesterday, and we just had a good week. And so what that means is that, of course, we're gonna definitely see you guys. No call in the morning, no call in the morning, no call in the morning. But you've been in Club 7772. Welcome to the club. I didn't see your 777 in the chat, but welcome to the club. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, but I will see you guys Monday morning. Let's do it again next week, 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless you guys. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.